Welcome to part 2. Now, the storm which is brewing, which I referred to in the earlier episode of this series, has to do with money going to the counties. Now, the way things are developing, this thing is so sensitive, this thing is so serious, that it could bring down the Uhuru government. Yeah, you heard me. Now, the government through CS Treasury went before Senate and said, we don't have money. Yeah. Therefore, we cannot send the money expected by counties. That's what they said. Okay? And then, a few hours later, the same CS came out and said, the government is not broke. We have money. We have money from the Eurobond. Now, there's a big problem. Very big problem. I can assure you that none of the governors will sanction the Kumekucha story or any other story that the government is broke. They don't want to hear. In fact, they will say, if I talk to any of them even right now, they will say, "Where Kumekucha ina fake news yako? Ati government is broke. Why are you cheating Kenyans?" That is what governors will say. Why? Because they need money. And Bwana Rotich has told them the government is not broke. They have Eurobond. Therefore, let them disburse the funds in full back to the counties, as the law says. Okay? And let that be a priority. And let them do that like yesterday. Now, here's the tricky part. Or if I can tell you in Kenyan language, hapa ndo vitu zinaumana. Yeah? The procedure for releasing these funds to counties goes through the Senate. Everything goes through the Senate. Now, majority in the Senate are from where? Jubilee. Yeah, they're backing the government. Okay? Minority are opposition. That's okay. Yeah? So when the CS comes and speaks to the Senate and believes that the Senate is pro-government, the Senate is majority Jubilee, therefore there's no problem, these guys will understand, he's dreaming. Why? Because nobody is going to support him. Why? Because, for instance, let's just take one example where there's a lot of manenos right now. Rift Valley. Okay? You're a senator from the Rift Valley. So you come to the Senate and you say it is okay. The government doesn't have any money or the government has budget shortfalls. What we do, the money which you're sending to the counties in the Rift Valley, it is okay, you can reduce them. That man's political career is over. Kaput. Finished. Even before the governor can mobilize his people to be aware of what their senator has said, it'll already be all over. Yeah, it'll already be in social media. Yeah, various counties have their own platforms. Various counties have their own WhatsApp groups. These days, news spreads pop very quickly. Okay, it doesn't need to appear in the newspaper. So you go ahead and compromise the newspapers. You go ahead and make sure these things don't appear in newspapers. People will still know. The long and short of it is that this disbursement of funds to counties is a very hot political potato. Very hot. No county in the Republic of Kenya is going to support what Bwana Rotich is suggesting. Cutting back on funds to the county? Nope. Not a single county will support. Now, I'm aware this is Kenya, and funny things, miracles, things that cannot be explained happen very frequently on our political scene. So it is possible that a few counties will say it is okay. Cut down on the money you're sending to us, but be sending it on time, promptly. It is okay, just cut down. We understand the country is in a problem. It is possible that that could happen. But that, I assure you, will only be a handful of counties. And that, I assure you, those people in those counties accepting such decisions are digging their own political grave. Bila kutumia kizungu mingi, the disbursement of funds to counties cuts across party lines, cuts across political affiliations, cuts right across the political divide. That's really what it is. So my suggestion is that you get out the popcorn and sit back and wait for action. That I guarantee you. this movie is about to get hyper interesting. This movie called Unfolding Events in the Republic of Kenya. Now, before I go, let's get back to this topic of Kenya being broke or not broke. Okay? What is happening is that IMF are in town. Okay? And a lot of analysts, financial, economic analysts, are predicting that very soon the caps on interest rate, that controversial law, will be no more. Interest rates will be liberalized, so that banks can charge whatever interest rate they want, and it'll just be a question of willing buyer, willing seller, the person willing to buy the loan at those interest rates and the person selling that loan at those high interest rates. It'll just be that. Where are these analysts so sure? Well, they're going by a truth about life, and that is the borrower is a slave to the lender. The borrower will always dance to the tune of the lender. It's as simple as that. Now, we want money from IMF. No, I need to correct that. Not want. We desperately need money from IMF. Okay? So you tell me, what do you think is going to happen? I think the analysts are right. Now, this law that was introduced by Jubilee on capping interest rates had very good intentions. In fact, if there's anything the Jubilee government has done, targeted at improving the lot of the common Kenyan and targeted at improving life in Kenya, then this is one law I can say, and I can testify on behalf of Jubilee. This is one very good intentioned law they put in place. The truth, without emotions of any party affiliations, the truth is that banks have been robbing Kenyans blind for decades. That is the truth. Okay? However, when you want to introduce something new, very basic law, when you want to overturn, when you want to overhaul things, you want to introduce something completely new, you have to make sure that you completely destroy the old, so that what you introduce is brand new. It is so brand new that you've already cut your bridges, you've already destroyed the bridges that go back to the old, so there's no way anybody can go back to the old, because people always resist change, even when that change is good. And the banks really resisted this law. And that is where Jubilee failed. They had good intentions, but the execution, it was not going to work right from the word go. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because there's a lot of things that have happened which should be very clear for everybody to see. Now, for instance, banks have always operated on high interest rates. That is the only way they know how to do business. They don't know any other way. You imagine this 60, 70-year-old man, you're trying to teach him new skills. Can't work. Because what has happened is that the banks have thrived on issuing loans, many of them high risk, but because of the high interest rates, at the end of the day, they have been laughing all the way back to their bank balances, if I can put it like that. Why? Because there are those who have paid back their loans. There are those high risks they took where the people have paid back their loans. There are those high risks they took which end up being bad loans. But at the end of the day, because of the very high interest rates, they end up making money. And that's how they've been surviving. And that's how loans are being approved. Now you come all of a sudden and you say, we want some discipline in the banking industry. So we cap interest. You cannot, the spread is maximum this. You're just killing the banks because they don't know any other way of operating. You cheat yourself if you say they'll adapt. It's a business. They'll find a new way to make money. They won't, and it has clearly been seen. And so it is not surprising that top on the list of the IMF mission to Kenya is that law must go. And looking at things, it's rather obvious. Because you see, when the loans, what happened is that loans have not been going out, and this has affected the economy. This has even affected the government, revenue collection. Rotich did not say this, but it's the truth. This is one of the biggest factors that has affected government revenue collection and on many quarters. Yeah, let's just give a few examples. When somebody takes out a loan, he's going to purchase machinery, he's going to purchase something. He definitely is going to purchase something. When he purchases those things, he's going to pay value-added tax. Okay? Now, supposing they go and, because most of these loans are for construction, so they go to the site, that site employs people, it creates employment for the country, and when people are employed, they spend more, and each time they spend, value-added tax goes back to the government. And I can go on and on. Therefore, the long and short of this is that by strangling banks so that loans are not coming out, the government was actually strangling itself. Okay? Very unfortunate. Although I still say the intention was very good. Okay? But however, the reality was very different. And it seems that the Jubilee government, in enforcing this particular and passing this law, were not looking at reality. Now again, this issue of interest rates, this whole issue of interest rates is also threatening, okay, to cut across party lines. And I'll tell you why. A vast majority of the people who've been taking out these loans, yeah, using loans to enrich themselves, using loans to develop themselves, using loans to do a lot of things, guess where they come from? They come from strongholds of the Jubilee political formation. In other words, we are rapidly heading towards a situation where the Jubilee supporters, people who are diehard Jubilee supporters, will start having louder voices than even the opposition in telling the Jubilee government, no, you've messed up here, this is wrong, no, we do not want. And that's not the opposition talking like that. That is Jubilee diehard supporters talking like that. And so I return to my original question. How long can the Jubilee presidency soak in all this pressure successfully? How long? Well, I don't think for very long. Clearly, from the way things are going, not for long. Until next time, this is Kshs Kumekucha.